Viewers, this is the first time today that we have now met with the 4 astronauts who will be a part of the Gaganyaan mission, who will be taking India to space. Without wasting much time, I want to take this opportunity to now introduce the rest of you to a little bit more information about our 4 astronauts as well. We begin with Group Captain P Balakrishnan Nair. He was born in Tiruvaziyad, Kerala. He is an alumnus of the NDA and recipient of the Sword of Honour at the Air Force Academy. He was commissioned on the 19th of December 1998 in the fighter stream of the IAF. He is a CAT flying instructor and test pilot with 3,000 hours of flying experience. He has flown the Sukhoi Su-30, the MiG-21, the MiG-29, the Hawk, the Dornier, AN-32 as well. Alumnus of the United States Staff College and a DS at DSSC Wellington and FIS Tambaram. He has commanded a premier fighter Su-30 squadron as well. That is Group Captain P Balakrishnan Nair for you. The second astronaut on the mission is Group Captain Ajit Krishnan. He was born in Chennai, Tamil Nadu on the 19th of April 1982. He is an alumnus of NDA and a recipient of the President's Gold Medal. He is a recipient of the Sword of Honour at the Air Force Academy. He was commissioned on the 21st of June 2003 in the fighter stream of the IAF. He is a flying instructor and a test pilot with approximately 2,900 hours of flying experience. He has flown a variety of aircrafts including the Su-30 MKI, the MiG-21, the MiG-29, the Jaguar, Dornier, AN-32 amongst others. He is also an alumnus of DSSC Wellington. That was, of course, Group Captain Ajit Krishnan. The third astronaut on the mission is Group Captain Angad Pratap. Group Captain Angad Pratap was born in Prayagraj on 17th July 1982. He is the alumnus of NDA commissioned on the 18th of December 2004 in the fighter stream of the IAF. He has been a flying instructor and a test pilot with approximately 2,000 hours of flying experience. He has flown a variety of aircrafts including the Su-30 MKI, the MiG-21, the MiG-29, the Jaguar, the Hawk, the Dornier and the AN-32 amongst others. That was Group Captain Angad Pratap. And last up, the fourth astronaut is Wing Commander S Shukla. Wing Commander S Shukla was born in Lucknow, Uttar Pradesh on 10th October 1985. He is an alumnus of the NDA and was commissioned on June 2006 in the fighter stream of the IAF. He is a fighter combat leader and a test pilot with 2,000 hours of experience flying a variety of aircrafts including the Su-30 MKI, the MiG-21, the MiG-29, the Jaguar, the Hawk, the Dornier and the AN-32 amongst others. Those 4 men, viewers, will be leading India's maiden mission to space. On that note, I take this opportunity to bring with us a very special guest. I have with me Dr. K. Sivan, former chief of ISRO. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us on the broadcast. It's been a big day for ISRO. It's been a big day for announcements related to the space mission. I want to begin by asking you, sir, can you help explain how special it is for our country that India's first set of astronauts will be undertaking the first Indian manned mission and how they've been announced?
The mission, the Gaganyaan, is mainly meant for sending human or taken an Indian from Indian soil by Indian rocket to space and bring him back safely. It is a totally indigenous effort, and it is by achieving this mission that our India will be able to acquire a lot of new technologies of sending human to space and bring him safely back to Earth.
Right. At the same time, Dr. Sivan, can you tell us a little bit more about the training program that our astronauts, would have gone through?
They have, after they are selected here, they have sent to Russia for a detailed training program in Russia. And after they are completing the program in Russia, they came back to India. Now the mission specific training now they are undergoing. That is having two parts. One is theory on subject or theory part, that also they completed. Now the training will start mainly on with the real module with which they are traveling. With that, the training will be held.
At the same time, sir, where exactly do we stand on the Gaganyaan mission and what all testing has been done so far?
Gaganyaan required a lot of new technologies developments. That is number one. The rocket in which the astronauts are traveling, it should be human rated. For that purpose, that all the engines are retested and the stages are qualified for human rating. Here the reliability of the launch vehicle should be much more than the satellite launch. So that way one development happened. That another one is we need to create a conducive environment for the astronauts in the space. So that involves a crew module, and also that the environment inside the crew module should be similar to Earth-like situation. This development also happened. It is being tested also. Then the third one is when you are bringing the astronauts back to Earth, that we should ensure that the module is withstanding the very large amount of heat transmitted to the spacecraft. That way also the new systems have been developed. All these systems are developed, now being tested. This testing contains many parts. One is test at the ground, test in the flight, also test as we fly.
Yes.
That is, after doing the test, the component level test, module level test in the ground as well as in flight, the entire the mission or entire the configuration of the astronaut traveling vehicle configuration will be configured, and there instead of astronauts, one robot will be there. With that, first it will go and ensure that everything is all right. This not only once, two times that we ensure that everything is all right with the simulated environment. After ensuring everything is all right, then only the real astronauts will be flying.
At the same time, Dr. Sivan, can you tell us a little bit about Vyommitra, the humanoid robot that ISRO has also developed for this particular mission?
This actually it is mainly to simulate the human functions, because that we are, as I said earlier, the crew module create a situation similar to what the Earth-like situations it will simulate. Under these conditions, how the human systems will behave or will react, these things will be done by that the Vyommitra, whatever robot, whatever we are talking.
Yes.
It's the half robot. This one. It definitely it will create a situation instead of before sending a man, really what's happened in the human system based on the situations there, that will be created or simulated by this robot.
Very interesting, sir. Very interesting. Prime Minister Modi, Dr. Sivan, has also spoken about the Indian space station by 2035. Has any groundwork perhaps been done for this? I understand that Gaganyaan as the mission itself will be very crucial towards achieving this particular goal. But other than that, I'm sure that there's a lot of parallel work that is going on for this as well.
Yes, this is already that is a national team is working on the configuration of the work of the space station, and also that is ISRO has put one intermediate target of the first module to be launched by 2028. Because that, as you know, the space station cannot be launched by a single launch vehicle, because it will be around 20 to 40, 30 to 40 ton. So it cannot be launched by single launch vehicle, which we don't have. So it has to be built by modular construction. So the first module to be launched by 2028. That's the target with which ISRO is working on. By 2035, the work will be completed and the entire station will be in operation.
At the same time, Dr. Sivan, 3 new facilities, sir, have also been launched today. The PSLV integration facility, the semi-cryogenic integrated engine, and the stage test facility at Mahendragiri, and the trisonic wind tunnel at the VSSC, where the Prime Minister was today. Are you seeing a lot of focus today on the improvement of space infrastructure in India, sir?
Yes, definitely. This the 3 space infrastructure inaugurated today, it is going to enhance our capability. Like the PSLV integration facility will be increasing the number of launches.
Yes.
That is a one. And the semi-cryogenic engine test facility will be useful for testing that the new engine which ISRO is developing, and it's going to power the future launch vehicles. And the trisonic wind tunnel facility is required for doing aerodynamic characterization of the launch vehicle in the transonic, in subsonic, transonic and supersonic. In all 3 regimes it is required. And the huge number of tests we can do very easily.
Yes.
Without depending on processes, are going to enhance our capability multifold.
Dr. Sivan, before we let you go, sir, another key announcement was made recently approving 100% FDI in the space sector. You were the behind in space. How do you now feel about this, and where do you think that this could possibly take our space sector?
Definitely, this 100% FDI, it is really is a vision, very far ahead vision, and it is a path-breaking decision, I would say. And with this one, that is because of this the 100% relaxation for the FDI for this one, and the space sector growth in India, it is going to be increased multifold. And restriction that the growth will not be there, but with this relaxation, definitely the space sector reform announced by the government of India will be will enhance the activities of space activities in India in very large, and which will bring a huge amount of economy in the space economy to India. This is a great announcement, I would say.
Well, Dr. Sivan, thank you so much, sir, for joining us on NewsX to give us your thoughts and perspectives on a big mission that we're hoping to witness in the next few years. Joining me also is Mr. Suresh Nair, former scientist, and Group Captain V.N. Jha, former director of the DRDO, senior scientist himself. Let me begin this conversation with Group Captain V.N. Jha. Group Captain Jha, once again, we're back discussing one of our most favorite sectors, which is the space sector, and today is a different conversation altogether. Today is the first time that people have actually now seen and understood who will be the 4 astronauts who will be taking India's maiden flight to space. What was your feeling and what are your thoughts, sir, before I get into some technical aspects of it as well?
Well, I'm greatly elated today because in 2005 and 6, when for the first time I had held a seminar at Institute of Aerospace Medicine, Bangalore, where ISRO had participated for the first time, that how they are going to take up the entire vision. Way back, it is now almost about 20 years back. I retired, I had laid down a draft vision document onto which, enormously ISRO has added, and there have been inputs from various other corners. Today is a very skilled, highly skilled bodies of professionals, experts who are guiding this Gaganyaan project. So, in the small uh, sentence, I can say I'm absolutely elated today. Secondly, the human, when goes to the space, there are various aspects of which, some of which, of course, Professor Sivan has spoken. But then I had written a book about 2 years back, uh, human in space missions, various aspects of it. And what Professor Sivan has spoken, he has only given you the tip of iceberg. There are various other things. Of course, one is the rocket, which has to be human rated, the payload, a crew module in which the the Gaganauts will be sitting. That itself has got huge systems and subsystems, just for the sake of sustaining the crew in space where there is no atmosphere, where the entire environment, airless environment, is absolutely hostile. You have got the burning sun, you have got the radiations, and in the absence of anything, any assistance coming from the space. So you have to take everything. Now, atmosphere has to be, artificial atmosphere. He told you that it is like Earth's atmosphere. That means the inside pressure will be about 1 G. I will not go into the details right now, but in the 1 G environment, EC and LSS, that we are call it, environmental controlled and life support system, it has to meet the human requirement that every breath we take, it has to have the type of oxygen, type of the composition of the gases, and every breath that we leave, which carries water vapor, which carries carbon dioxide, which has to be removed from the system. So when all this 2 or 4 crew keep on breathing, so first thing is the breath.
Yes.
With every breath, all this automation of the system in the EC and LSS will have to be automated, which is a huge task. And it is all automated, that every molecule of oxygen which is being consumed, that much is added with the every breath. As much of the carbon dioxide is given to the environmental control system in the crew module, that has to be removed. So it has to have those things. And there is a service module which will be producing the type of electricity, which will be having all supplements, which doesn't need to be in the pressurized cabin. So all these will be carried. I'm just talking to you again the tip of the iceberg. Only very few little I'm talking right now. His breathing, all
Okay.
these have to be met within that, and it's a huge task. Good that the human rating is by and large over. Now, crew training has to be in the model that he has mentioned to you.
Yes.
One thing that he didn't mention to you is there is a simulated flight in the parabola. One of the transport aircraft has to be converted into the parabolic flight, in which 0G training has to be given, whether it is in India, whether it is in the Russia, somewhere this also has to happen, to which all these systems must be qualified. So there is a reasonably task. Vyommitra is the first one where humanoid, that will be taken into it. That's only a dummy with all instrumentation done, including the acceleration, breathing, pressure, all this will be done. So a lot of work is there, but then I'm glad what he mentioned to you, that it is the fully indigenous system. I compliment ISRO for the approach, and I compliment Indian Air Force, who have contributed these 4 very highly experienced pilots who are being trained onto all these
Yes.
aspects. And last but not the least, they also have to be a pilot in the loop of the entire automation. That means if anything goes wrong, then they come into play. Otherwise, entire flight will be remote controlled from the ground. But
Yes.
only if something goes wrong, they will assume the control.
Okay, Mr. Suresh Nair, I'll also bring you into the conversation. So I'd just like to understand from you, uh, when training for such a program, what are the things that will now have to really be kept in mind? And I'm sure, of course, ISRO is taking care of it to the best of their capability. But what really are the lessons that can perhaps be drawn from the past, because there are countries that are operating the International Space Station as we speak, wherein humans in the form of astronauts are there in space 24/7 for a very long period of time. India is embarking on a grand new journey for itself. What are the lessons that we can perhaps draw from, sir?
First thing, again, I think you mentioned Suresh Nair. I am Suresh Naik. Okay.
My apologies, sir. My apologies.
Every time I think this is happening. Anyway, what I want to add is that today has been a day for which the whole country has been waiting eagerly. The announcement of the 4 astronaut designates, and none other than the PM has introduced them to the country. And it is a big day, I would say. I would like to add one thing, that why there is no woman astronaut designate. Because earlier it has been discussed the possibility out of 4, there could be 1 woman astronaut. Let me explain that. Actually, these astronauts who have been, who are selected, the selection method, if you see, and if they are from Air Force, because there are 2 types of astronauts. One is the command module astronaut, and another one is the payload specialist astronaut. So command module astronauts have to be, a very good flying experience. And most importantly, they are selected from a pool of test pilots. Now, what is the test pilot? See, new airplane or a modified airplane, when it is being tested, that requires additional skills on the part of the pilot, and he or she has undergone that kind of a training. Okay, that is, when there is an emergency, they have to remain very calm and address fully to the solution of the problem. Basically, you can say they are the cream of air warriors. Okay, and as of today, India doesn't have any test pilot. Okay, so that is why you don't find a woman astronaut designate in the team of 4. Now, secondly, I would like to attract the attention of the viewers that you see, recently the cryogenic engine, which is going to be used for the Gaganyaan, was retested. Okay. Now, this cryogenic engine testing is done in a vacuum environment, and that is simulating the space. That is one thing. Second thing, it really, the crewed mission introduces additional safety and reliability requirements. So this is a part of it, and it doubly ensures the combustion stability and structural integrity of the cryogenic engine. I would like to sort of emphasize that a cryogenic engine is the most crucial part of the rocket, which is likely to fail. Okay, and that is why more attention is paid to its reliability. Then I would like to come to the other aspects that Dr. Shivan mentioned, that all these systems have been developed and they are undergoing tests. Here I would like to specifically say the safety tests. One is pad abort test. When the vehicle is not yet taken off and something happens or something is likely to happen, which is putting this astronaut's life in danger, then the crew model gets detached and taken to a safe distance from the rocket. It is a pad abort test. Now, this test has been once conducted, I think about 6 months or 1 year back, but ISRO wants to repeat that test because there have been so many changes undergone during that period. So they want to repeat that test. But they have already done it once and they are satisfied about it, but it is an abundant precaution they want to redo it. Second thing, when the rocket takes off, during the air, right up to the last stage, okay, if this kind of a dangerous situation arises Then also we had to take the crew model, detach it from the rocket, and again bring it to that safety. So that has been done to the fullest satisfaction. Third thing is the when re-entry takes place, and afterwards the spacecraft, the crew model starts gliding towards the Earth. Okay, then it finally splashes down in the sea. Now, see, that particular thing happens up to certain extent. The parachutes are there, so safely it is coming down. But in the last about few meters or so, it suddenly splashes into the sea. So the impact it undergoes is also has to be made sure that the inside astronauts will stand that impact. So that is called helicopter drop test. Now, this test has been done once, but now it needs to be redone at various heights. Okay, it can be 3 meter height, 4 meter height, 5 meter height. So at various heights, this test is required to be redone, and that is still remaining. And uh, once it is done, then there will not be any astronaut inside, obviously, and every component inside will be checked whether anything has undergone damage. So that particular important test is going to be done. Now, most important is the life support system. That is the environmental control and life support system that has to be tested fully, and that, of course, the process must be going on. And as has been already clarified, really is very important. Earth-like condition, a comfortable condition has to be maintained inside the crew model, and carbon dioxide has to be taken away on the regular basis. Water supply, recycling is important. You see, sending 1 kilogram of water tomorrow when we start our time, what is that, space station system, then you had to supply them some of the things like water, food, etc. Now, sending 1 liter of water costs a lot of money. You can say
Yes.
$10,000 it could be. Now, we had to save the water on board the crew model very carefully. Every drop has to be saved. And
Okay.
for that, another thing is to be recycled. Even the
Yes.
urine has to be recycled, right? And it should be worth, quality of drinking. Yes.
Okay, all right, very interesting, and I wish we had more time, sir, to go deeper, and of course closer to the launch. I'm sure we will be having many more of these conversations where everyone would want to just understand how this would even work out. I leave the last word with Group Captain Vyommitra. Sir, I just have 30 seconds left. I'd just like to understand from you, how would this mission then set the base, sir, for an Indian space station?
Look, this is the beginning of it. Right now, the first sortie, China, when they had sent the first sortie in their space, they had sent only one person, which remained in flight in the orbit for about 23 hours or so, just one day, and he came down. But here, India is sending, a set of crew. There, 4 has been announced. I suppose only 2 of them will be in the main group, and 2 will be standby. And in the first sortie, there is a crew module in which it's a very small space. For the women to be taken, there is no privacy. Most probably, I believe that is why women is not being taken. And since it is 6-7 days or 4 to 7 days, anything in the range of that, there will be hours of privacy that will be required in case of a women goes for the toiletries and things like that, and there is no separate place. So maybe that women is not being taken in this one. Secondly, the payload is only a small set of experiments that will be carried out. It is not the full-fledged experiments that it is being carried out in the International Space Station or something big. So for that, there is a bigger system required. And last but not the least, regeneration technologies in the small crew module will be very limited. That is most likely for the space station when we have. So it is a small effort right now, the first sortie. It will be mostly automated. Pilot, as I mentioned to you, will only come to play when there's an emergency. Otherwise, it will be controlled from the ISRO station. The human, all the pilots will be 24 hours monitored for their health through the telemetry system. And it is the first effort. Mind you, it will be limited trials in air. So it's the first system that is going to the space. As I had mentioned to you, to remain in space, you need a velocity of 7.2 kilometer per second. That is almost about 27,000 kilometer per hour. So when that crew module re-enters the atmosphere, huge friction will be there, with which temperature of sort of about 2000 degree will be created, and that crew module will have to withstand that. That is why first time the humanoid will be going, Vyommitra will be going. It will take record of everything happening within the crew module during those re-entry phase, and finally the splashdown. So I wish ISRO the very best of all effort. I hope everything goes well as per the plan.
Privacy has been provided,
So
sir. In this sortie also, privacy has been provided.
Right.
Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you so much to both of our experts for joining us to take this conversation forward. I'm sure our viewers have learned as much as I have as well.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.